Season 55, War number 2. Today we've matched up against SSX, and the bans are, once I tap them, Hulk, Count Nefaria, Silk, Corvus Glaive, and Null. And my team today is going to be Luke Cage, Kushala, and Prowler. Fun fact, I actually had a different team when the original assignments came out for this war. I don't plan Sunday wars, I do the ones on Wednesdays and Fridays, so this one was not me. And then there were a few champs who were assigned that were actually on BG's, not BG's defense, but war defense. So I had to get my team rearranged to get Prowler on my team, because our original Prowler assignment was on defense. And that meant I lost one of my path fights. So I'm taking the Serpent here, and then I was going to take the Warlock after the Serpent with my Medusa, but I had to get Medusa off my team so I could have Prowler. And long story short, we're going to have only 3 path fights today and 1 mini, and I was going to have 7 fights, and so now I only have 6. It's whatever. And yeah, my minis were going to be pretty different, but this is still going to be pretty cool. We're fighting Serpent here with Kushala. This is my only Kushala fight this war, so I really only care about soloing the fights. I don't need to worry about how much health I have. And yeah, this fight's really difficult even with Kushala. In the future, I might start sending a Spiral here, because I do believe we have one. I just didn't really look into it, and my other planner didn't look into it either, apparently. But that's all good. We're going to get some poisons on us here, but again, I really don't care as long as he just goes down. So I need him to dash in. I drop the SP1, and we just need to nullify a few of those ignition buffs so that I can just get some damage going. And at this point, it doesn't even matter that he's poisoning me, because once that death immunity runs out, he's just dead, because I saved my relic to where I could combo chain into my special, and then he would not be able to do anything during his death immunity other than poison me. So yeah, that fight went pretty well, and again, I don't need to heal Kushala, so it does not matter that she has that low health. Now we're going to start using some Luke Cage. I have 3 Luke Cage fights. 2 of them are right on this Section 2 Path 9, starting against this Spider Ham. And Luke Cage is really, really good for Decay. He's whitelisted this season, and he's already one of the better attackers for it, just because he has the easy debuff access at all times. And he also has really good concussions on his SP2, which I believe I don't even use the concussions for the first 2 fights I'm doing with Luke Cage, because they don't really line up right. Because Spider Ham, I really just don't want to be above a bar of power ever, because then you can start getting spider nonsense, which, considering I have the slow from Decay, I probably didn't need to worry about that as much as I was. But Decay does not counter power sting damage, so there was a chance that because his Spider Ham was duped that I would get some power sting on me. But either way, it's just a little bit longer if we play it this way. It's still just as safe by doing only the special ones, and he eventually just goes down. I'm going to anti-beta special 2 here, and then it just takes a couple more hits. And then I got a Porker Popper on me at the very end of the fight, but it wasn't going to matter, of course. So now we're fighting Spiral on node 36. The reason why Spiral is placed here is because as she gains fervors throughout the fight, it just increases the chance of placing the shock and bleed from Hazard Shift. However, with Decay, those don't really matter, obviously, and you just get the free withers from the tactic itself, so it ends up being a pretty easy time. The only problem is that I can't really parry her, so I have to do 3-hit combos. I whiffed my heavy attack there, so that was almost really bad, but I can do it like that. So, and yeah, when she has the Dancing Blades, you cannot do your second light attack, ever, because that is going to cause her to shoot the blades, and then that's going to stun you, and then she's just going to combo chain you to death. So when she has those blades active, I just kind of have to do 3-hit combos only, which Luke Cage doesn't like doing, because he really wants to be using all of his light attacks for the exhaustions. And then that concussion is very low potent, because I didn't have a lot of exhaustions when I applied it. I'm not even sure if the concussion really stops the blades. I really don't know. It might be an ability accuracy immune thing, but I wasn't going to try it anyway. So here the fight is basically over. It was not very clean, but honestly that fight was a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, and it's probably going to be that way for most Decay attackers. So anyway, we got out alive, which is all that matters. And now we're using Prowler again, which again I was not originally supposed to be playing. I had different minis this war. I was going to take 40 Onslaught with Luke Cage, and then I was going to take 44 Mysterio with Medusa. But because of the fact that we needed a Prowler, we had to change the plan to get mine on attack. So I ended up having to get my mini switched. And because Prowler is like one of the few champs I really like to assign to this Northstar, and he does rip apart the Weapon X we're going to be fighting after really nicely, we just kind of went for it this way. Here I'm going to drop my SP2 right in the open. The reason I did that is because I knew that when the opponent is faltered, they play super aggro, so he was not going to use his block there. Is there some risk to that? There probably is, but I felt confident enough in doing it because I had faith that the AI was not going to try to block me, and they didn't, so that's nice. The only annoying thing about this fight is that Northstar is going to build up a bunch of physical resistance via his SIG ability whenever he drops a special, and Prowler is all physical damage except for, I believe, when the ruptures detonate and you have the incinerate on the opponent. So it makes the fight last longer. I wanted to originally have Northstar to, like, I wanted originally him to not have that physical resistance when I was going for SP2s, but he ended up dropping SP1 that I was hoping he wouldn't drop. So it just didn't line up right, but it ended up, being fine. It just makes the fight last a little bit longer when he's got that physical resist. There's not really any other repercussions to it. And now we're fighting Weapon X on node 43. I did this fight last war, and also the war before last war, so the last war of last season. So this is 3 wars in a row that I'm taking this Weapon X, and this time I'm taking it without Odin pre-fights, because of the whole planning issues we were having earlier in the war. I just decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going without Odin, I don't need it. Get your other team slots that you need to fill on more important things. I'm confident enough to do this without it. And that's literally what happens. I'm just going to try to play it as safely as possible during the shock phase, and then Prowler, he does a lot of damage, so we're going to be killing this Weapon X relatively fast, and it's not going to be like something I need to worry about too much. Either way, waiting out the shock phase. He does not have his Berserk mode anymore. It's about to start building back up. I'm hoping he drops an SP1 here, and then I can follow up with a heavy. And then he's already almost back in the Berserk mode, so I need to chill. And then I believe I just kind of go for it here. He drops a special, and it looks like I want to chill, and then I'm like, you know what, no, we're just going to go for the kill. So if I get any shocks on me, who cares? It's my last Prowler fight. He does die as the ruptures expire, so... Okay, those are my 2 emergency Prowler fights that we had to weave in. They went pretty great. And then now we have my last fight that I was always going to be taking, was this Enchantress on node 48 with Luke Cage. I have a Wags pre-fight here, which is going to let me parry whenever I need to. So the threat of this fight is the prowess. She's not only going to be gaining extra special damage because of the prowess, she's also going to be gaining an impact charge, so that when she drops them into your block, it's going to hurt way more than normal. As you can see there, 1 hit did 4% of my health. So, that's really annoying. I need to try to get this untouchable off of me, which she makes me miss twice in a row, which is super great. I wanted to push her to an SP3. That's how I fight Enchantress in war, is by pushing her to an SP3, because you tank it with an invul boost, and then you also have Luke's personal indestructible as well. But she dropped the special one in my block, as she tends to do, so it did not work out like I was hoping. However, here she's finally going to drop an SP3, which is exactly what I want her to do. We have a bit of a concussion active, so I believe the power steal at the end of the SP3 is going to fail. I'm just going to let me get to another SP2 faster. Everything is going well now. Oh, no, we still got power stolen. Alright, that's fine. Everything is going well now. I just need her to cooperate with me as much as she's willing to do, which is a little bit iffy with Enchantress sometimes, as you guys probably know. But we're going to push her to yet another SP3 with this SP1, which brings her down to 4%, and not 3%. And then I knew I still had the invul boost active from the Weapon X fight, so we just tank this, and then it just takes a couple hits to kill her. I probably could have gone for a parry there because I had Wags, and then actually it's just a medium that finishes her off. So, yeah, that fight went pretty well. So, 1 minute and 49 seconds, which is not bad for an Enchantress mini-boss. And then we did lose the war 2-8. GG's to SSX. I hate this meta where the opponents only put up 1 and 2 deaths respectively, because our first opponent only dropped 1, our second only dropped 2. And, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, sometimes we fight people who will drop, like, 10 plus, and then other times we just fight people who drop 2. I don't know how this meta works at all when it comes to the scores, because it's like, we don't have a bad win rate, even though it, like, looks by these final scores of us putting 8 deaths and 10 deaths respectively in our first 2 wars. Like, it looks like we're a bad alliance, but, like, last season we did fine, and, I don't know, it's just weird how the death count our opponents put up scales so much from war to war in this tactic. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.